What's going on, trainers? Dom from the Otaku Room, guys. And I have this stupid smile on my face. Episode 118 of Pokemon Horizons was one of the best episodes of the season of the Blueberry Academy arc for sure. Personally, I think it was the best episode so far. I have not hit it at all. If you were around, well, you probably weren't, but back in the day when Sword and Shield came out, the Pokemon games, me and my wife, we streamed all of Pokemon Sword and Shield, and we streamed all of Shiny Hunting all the way through the DLC. So we pretty much streamed Sword and Shield for about a year or two, just straight up, like every stream, like, you know, probably 50% of our streams was all Sword and Shield until the next game came out, which was, I think it was BDSP. So, you know, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and then Arceus is the next games. But pretty much from the day Sword and Shield released till the day that BDSP released, we were streaming Sword and Shield. With that being said, Hatterene and Indeedee are two of my favorite Galarian Pokemon that were introduced in Sword and Shield. I used them on my team, and I climbed all the way up to master rank in Sword and Shield. You know, that was one of the goals. Is I had a road to master rank in that game, you know, getting to Pokeball and Great Ball and Ultra Ball. And that was one of the big goals. And those two were on my team. My team, I can't exactly remember, but it consisted of like Excadrill and Tyranitar and Hatterene and Indeedee. And I think I had two others that I would kind of filter, through, but those kind of like were my main four in my team. Anyways, I'm being very long-winded way to say that I loved seeing Hattrem evolved this episode, and I love the way that it was weaved in with Liko kind of realizing her feelings. And in the video games, Hattrem evolves into Hatterene at like level 40 or 42 or something like that. But I love how they used kind of the friendship. It was kind of indicating that she maxed out her friendship with Hattrem, and it was because that she like really felt her feelings. Like the last couple of arcs of Horizons has really been about syncing with your Pokemon, right? Like syncing up with your Pokemon, like Roy syncing up with Fuecoco, you know, Roy syncing up with I want to say Riolu, but Lucario. It's really been, you know, syncing up with your Pokemon. And this one, her and Hattrem feelings were perfectly in sync, so much so that she was like, oh, you know, help me, you know, come help me put the sandwiches together. And it made Hattrem really, really happy, which was just so cute to see. And then she kind of had her speech of like, you know, I'm always relying on you, and you know, I want to make sure that, you know, I'm so happy that you're here, and you know, you fill my heart with happiness, and I'm so glad that we met. And just this like, wow, like this really heartfelt like moment that she shared with Hattrem. And because like Hattrem's like, you know, friendship level, happiness level just skyrocketed in that moment, she evolved. And there's two things from that I took away. One is that she has max friendship, which I think is awesome, which means she probably has a couple of ribbons. But then two, more than likely Hattrem is around level 40 or 42. I can't remember if it was 40 or 42. It was one of the two, but she's pretty decently high level, you know, at this point, which is a pretty good indication of, you know, Liko's abilities as a trainer and how much work and effort she's put in to not only, you know, Meowscarada and Sharkadet, but, you know, now in Terapagos, and now in, you know, Hattrem, now Hatterene, which I just think is really cool. Then we go on a really cool little mission with the Ditto blocks, right? The Ditto blocks have kind of been like all over this episode, and they came across a Shiny Ditto, and every part of my being was catch the Shiny Ditto. Like, catch that Shiny Ditto. Like, I don't care if it's playing a block game, catch that Shiny Ditto. Like, there's no world that exists that Shiny Ditto isn't coming with Papa. You know what I mean? So I was like, come on, Liko, catch the Shiny Ditto. And oh my gosh. Anyways, that moment ruined me. I was like, there's no way we ran into a Shiny Ditto and we didn't catch that thing. But then that also led into the next really cool thing, which was them going into a cave with Tynamo and Electros and Electrikes. And I thought that was really cool. You know, Electros doesn't really get its due It has now in the latest Pokemon game in Pokemon Legends ZA with one of the gym leaders, Canary. It has gotten its due now, which is really cool. But I've always really loved the eel Pokemon. Electros is just such a cool Pokemon. I love the way that it is able to go around and like the way it moves and stuff. I think it's just such a cool Pokemon that comes from Tynamo. And Tynamo is such an annoying shiny hunt. My wife during the Legends EA game, she was shiny hunting. She was able to come across an alpha shiny Tynamo, which I thought was one of the coolest Pokemon. And Electros is like one of her aces on her team now through her ZA adventure, which makes me like the Pokemon even more. I think Electros is one. I think it's a Gen 5 Pokemon, but I think it's one of the coolest Pokemon to come out of that generation for sure. So it was just nice to see that, come in here and then see Hatterene kind of like bully the Electros a little bit. She like psycho cutted it and then healed it and then psycho cut it. So basically it's like she's like destroy, heal. And then she's like, Electros is like, we need to get out of here. This Pokemon's crazy. I thought that was just such a fun moment. I laughed really hard and I thought it was just so cute. So yeah, episode 118 was awesome. Next week, we're shifting gears back to Roy and him trying to overcome Drayton. So definitely check with me when episode 119. Yeah, when episode 119 launches next weekend after Thanksgiving. So for those who are in the West, happy early Thanksgiving to you all. But yeah, guys, this was an awesome episode. Probably one of my favorites this season so far. Not only did we get evolution, which of course, like we knew we were going to get it this episode. But not only did we get evolution, it was the way that we got it, which I thought was just so sweet and so cool. So definitely really appreciated that. So anyways, I'll leave you guys in those thoughts. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching my videos. Please hit me with a like before you guys dip out for the day, and I'll see you next week. All right, my friends. Happy trading, happy shiny hunting if you're still playing Legends 8, and I'll see you in the next piece.